these other realms. For instance, there are times...
Finally made it. Finally made it. That's great, bro.
Thank you.
Well, Ismael and I have had the opportunity to do about 4 or 5 podcasts together.
Yeah.
Fun, a lot of fun. Our fans love you. We love you.
Well, thank you. I love you guys too.
Yeah. So anyway, today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to ask some questions that I don't think I've asked them before. I want to know, when did you know you were a starseed?
Well, ever since my parents dropped me off here on a spaceship from Planet Avion, I'm just kidding. Well,
yeah, I mean, as an awakened starseed, I've always felt different. I was still telepathic. This is before they began to indoctrinate me with their conventional primitive knowledge, as I would call it now. And I felt like everyone was just not up to pace. I didn't understand why. And that's when I knew that I was different. But I also knew that I wasn't the only one down here. I knew that there were others like me. And I knew that one day I would eventually come across the others. And I have, thank God, through social media. And that's how I knew I was a starseed as a kid.
Cool. Now, what is your experience currently? What happens to you that allows you to travel out of body? How does that all work? For the newest person that's here that doesn't maybe quite understand exactly how all that works, give us a glimpse of that, please.
All right. So it's not astral travel. It's me shifting my consciousness from my 3rd dimensional avatar into my 5th dimensional avatar to access information. So it's more of me just transmitting information from higher versions of myself, and upon waking up, I am able to, translate, or not translate, but at least put into human words the concepts that I've learned from my 5th dimensional avatar. So I call it transmissions.
So what's the
Transmissions.
What's the difference
Between that and channeling,
astral and...
well, we all astral travel at night, whether you know it or not, Okay, so some people are conscious of it, some people are, they've mastered it. They can literally take their consciousness anywhere they go on the planet. But I don't really do that much. But what I do know is that due to my dreams, and in my dreams I'm like fighting entities that are hideous looking, and I'm doing all kinds of superhero stuff, that tells me that I am very active in other dimensions. And that's when I knew that I had different avatars on other, dimensions or in other parallel universes. But there is a difference, however, between channeling and direct transmissions. Channeling is when you open yourself up to other entities, which is very dangerous if you don't know how to protect yourself, first of all. And then transmissions is when you actually get a transmission from a different version of yourself, which is who you are, perhaps in a different dimension other than this one. That is the difference. Now, remote viewing is a different phenomena that even our own CIA, invested tons of money in trying to develop what they call super psychics, people that are able to, remote view anything across the entire planet. That is, anyone here could learn how to do that. Everyone here has these abilities, by the way. It's deep within us. We just have to put them into practice. But remote viewing is just taking your awareness to a different coordinate in the time-space continuum while leaving your body wherever it is that you are. That's the difference between astral projection and remote viewing.
Now, are you able to do this at will, or does it happen at certain times of the night? How does that exactly work?
It used to happen a lot more when I was younger. Okay. When I was in my early 20s, that's when I was having all these experiences. It actually started in my teenage years. When I was 16, I noticed that I had a lot of missing time, and that's when I, started finding out that I wasn't here. I was, but at the same time that I was operating in other dimensions. When I was 18, I had a lot of missing time, and then when I was 20 as well. So, but nowadays it's just me through my meditations. I'm able to connect naturally. I do practice 2 advanced meditative techniques actually that have assisted me in the reconnection to my higher self. So it just happens when I meditate now. But I know that when I go to sleep at night, there are times when I have a full recollection of what happened in these other realms. For instance, there are times when there are huge intergalactic meetings that are taking place, and I just remember being there, partaking in some sort of a round table where we had representatives of different solar systems, different parts of the galaxy, and discussing topics regarding, of course, the safety of the Earth, what's going on in other systems, and that's something that just happens naturally. I have no control over that. So that happens occasionally whenever I need to gather data and then bring it back into this realm. So that's another thing that I do when I do sleep.
Interesting. So that's starting to happen to me, to be quite honest with you. Yesterday, I swear to you, I was sitting where Drew normally sits. Drew's in with us here today. She canceled her hip replacement surgery. So a big round of applause to you. Awesome. And I sat there yesterday, and I'm literally going into astral surfing myself, and I'm looking to the left, and I swear to God, I saw Dolores Cannon staring me right in the face. I'm starting to see faces now. Before it was just smoke and different landscapes, etc. But I haven't gotten to the round table of the galactics yet. But when you do get there, do they know that it's you? They say, "Oh, here's that guy Ishmael."
They know me in my galactic form.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess they do relate that to me representing them on a 3rd dimensional level as well.
Cool. Is this
So
technology?
I do have a different name, by the way.
Sure.
When I am in my other avatar.
And this technology.
There are other, believe it or not, even though we're all here, there are other entities here and other realities from other realities as well, and they're just observing. So.
Yeah. And this technology will allow you to develop your astral surfing, whatever you want to call it, or go into a 5th dimensional. It will develop it even to a greater extent to what it is right now. I know that for a fact because I used to astral surf without this. With this, it's like on steroids. A big thanks to Mike Aries, who came in all the way from New Jersey. Mike, thank you for coming. Awesome. I mean, you imagine these guys are coming in. I got to come see you. I'm going to fly in from New Jersey. You're crazy, dude. I don't know why you would do that. But thank you. So what happened in your last surf, if you will, the most recent one, if you...
The most recent one was 2 weeks ago, and I put out a video about how there is a huge convergence taking place between different universes. The multiverse. The multiverse is real, by the way. There is an infinite number of probabilities and inversions of yourselves that exist on parallel alternative Earth realities. So when I was attending that meeting, which was actually taking place here within our own solar system, on the Jupiter moon known as Ganymede, the whole purpose of that was that they understand that all the timelines are now ready to converge due to a cosmic cycle. Well, we're only familiar with a 2,160-year cycle, right? From one zodiac to the next, and then we're also familiar with the 5,000-year Yuga cycles. We're also familiar with a 25,000-year Platonic year cycle. Well, there are even greater cycles that lead all the way up to what is known as the cosmic cycle of 998 billion years. So every time there is a cosmic cycle ending, all of the infinite number of alternative realities eventually begin to collapse and condense into only about 12, and then 6, and then from 6 we go into 2 or 3, and then from that we go into a one permanent reality, which was the original divine thought form before the fallen ones intercepted it with their own, disqualified, you could say, discordant energies that led to the corruption and fall of systems.
Have you been to any of these meetings where you actually physically, when you're in that 5th dimensional realm, where you're actually experiencing some people that are running planet Earth, like this guy 45 who never left? Is he at any of those meetings by any chance?
I'm going to reveal something for the first time that I've never revealed before, but are you guys familiar who Saint Germain is? With Saint Germain?
Yes.
45 is a fractal of Saint Germain. He's being overshadowed by Saint Germain. And this country has always been protected, and you could say, by Saint Germain and the Great White Brotherhood. So Saint Germain is the reason why this country is still here, by the way. Yeah.
Wow.
Otherwise, the cabal, when they infiltrated us in the early 1840s and created the divide, and from the south to the north, it was again Saint Germain who overshadowed Lincoln into preserving the republic against the cabal back then, which was operating under the Confederate States, who were completely controlled by the Jesuits and, of course, the Rothschild banking dynasty.
What is in the future for this plan? And I'm going to let you have your own presentation here in about a few minutes, but I have a few things that I want to ask. What is in the near future as far as this election that's about to supposedly come? I don't believe it's going to come. I think something has to happen. March, we just got a notice that my Bank of America right down the road here at Cocoa Beach is shutting down. And there's a lot of people throwing March around as a date that a lot of the banks are going to shut down. Now, is that a sign? I think it is. What do you know about it?
I've always felt 2024 was going to be the big one. And what I mean by that is the year of revelation, the year of the disclosure. Mm-hmm. So I've been hearing that we are not even going to get to the second election or to the 2024 election. I think that sometime after the holidays, hopefully sooner than later, there will be some sort of a transitioning of power from what's left of the deep state to the Earth Alliance White Hat group. Sorry.
Awesome. And do you think that we will see Donald Trump making a formal announcement through the mainstream media that he is back officially before the election even happens?
Well, according to Looking Glass Technology, the way the White Hats, you could say, orchestrated, in a sense where they pretty much pinned down the deep state on every probable reality, Donald Trump is destined to return before the second term, or before Brandon's term ends.
And how deep is he in the reevaluation of this transference of wealth, which is going to be the biggest transference of wealth in our lifetime for the last millennia? How deep is he involved in Nassara and Jassara? Will it be called a different name, or is it going to be called the same name? Because the acronym fits. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure if they have a different name for it that really means the same thing. I know that the bad guys have their own acronym that means a completely different thing.
Yeah, well, the Great Reset it's polarized. You have the bad guys trying to create the global currency, right? The digital, what they call the centralized global currency, and then you have the good guys that are trying to do the opposite of that by restoring the gold standard, silver, backed by precious metals, as it always should have been. And so what we're going to see in the positive setting timeline, as this bifurcation of timeline takes place, is that in the positive timeline, we're going to see the good, what they call the rainbow currency, the QFS, yes, which is going to be followed after they implement the Nassara.
Yeah, my wife brilliantly, named our website QFS1776.com, which is brilliance. Nice. And we put together, probably the most comprehensive, in a very chronological, elementary order, where the average Joe, the average fifth grader, sixth grader can go there and physically watch the videos in the sequential order and understand what is coming. It's not really that difficult. We made it simple specifically so that we can, gather the masses. And a website that doesn't have any search engine optimization that's getting 150, 160,000 views per month is unbelievable. So it's definitely, word is getting out there, strictly word of mouth. Brother, I'm going to let you get on with your presentation. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, brother. Thank you.